The AP will do it wrong, so we're here to do it right. Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert here with another GE Top 25 poll heading into one of the biggest weekends of the entire college football season. Week 4 of college football, guys, brings us 6 ranked versus ranked matchups. And we're going to see a major shakeup in the rankings when we do this video next week. But today, we're here to preview what our rankings look like heading into this weekend, what they look like after a pretty entertaining week 3, a more entertaining week than we thought it would be. And of course, here to break down some of the bigger matchups and get you ready for this Saturday. But before we do that, as always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and check out everything down in the description below, including our expert picks over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. We are beating out over 80% of the national handicappers each of the last 5 years. We are 6-3, so 2/3%, 67% of our best bets is what we're hitting so far this year. Do not want to miss out on those guaranteed winnings, a guaranteed winning record, money right back in your pocket, and the best customer service in the industry. Go check it out, link down in the description below, as well as our Patreon account and our mailing address to send us some of your team's gear so we can represent them in every single Gridiron Expert video. So let's dive into these rankings, guys. We will recap week 3 and we will preview week 4 tomorrow night on our live stream at 7 p.m. Central Time. We're going to have tons of week 4 coverage, including previewing all 6 of those ranked versus ranked matchups and a handful of other games that might be flying under the radar. But you look at week 3 and how it kind of transpired and affected our week 4 rankings, not too many shakeups, right? We didn't have a single ranked versus ranked matchup last week. Really didn't see too many upsets. More than anything, we saw a lot of lackluster performances, but they really weren't too much to really shake up the rankings. If you look over here in this first column, our top 7 teams remain the same. We did not change any of our top 7 teams. Georgia, despite trailing South Carolina 14-3 at one point, still remains number 1. The Bulldogs battling back with a dominant second half to win 24-14 over the Gamecocks. Michigan started very slow against Bowling Green, ultimately won 31-6. They remain at number 2. Florida State survived Boston College 31-29, did not look good at all against the Eagles and benefited from a lot of Boston College penalties. Maybe the Seminoles were looking ahead to this week's matchup against Clemson, but Florida State, despite the lackluster performance, remains at number 3. Same can be said for Texas, who had a very lackluster performance against Wyoming. Maybe a bit of a letdown spot following that big win over Alabama. They beat the Cowboys 31-10. Texas remaining at number 4. Penn State remaining at number 5 following their 30-13 road victory at Illinois. Very impressive defensive performance by the Nittany Lions. USC did not play. They were on bye. Remember, this team played in week 0, so they're going to get 2 bye weeks. Got the early one out of the way now. And then Ohio State in at number 7, defeating Western Kentucky 63-10. A very good offensive performance, kind of the offense that we were hoping to see out of Ohio State, now heading into the massive first test of the season against Notre Dame this Saturday. Without a doubt, the game of the week, and we will have analysis on that game on Wednesday. Really in-depth analysis on that game on Wednesday, so stay tuned for that. Then you get into the rest of our rankings, right? Washington is up 2 spots to number 8 following their 41-7 road victory at Michigan State. And we know Michigan State's not any good. We knew they weren't going to be good in the preseason, but we knew they were going to be even worse now with all of the Mel Tucker things going on in East Lansing. And obviously a very bad situation for the Spartans football program. Washington took full advantage of it. They were the better team 3 months ago. They were a better team on Saturday, winning 41-7. Michael Penix, an absolutely unbelievable performance against the Spartans. So Washington beating a Power 5 team on the road. I don't care how bad they are. I don't care what they're going through. Going on the road and beating a Power 5 team like that is extremely impressive. Washington getting the job done, rises to number 8. Oregon only dropping a spot because of the rise of Washington, who's just kind of all over our top 10. Sometimes they rise, sometimes they fall. It's going to end up, stabilizing here as we get into conference play. Oregon down to number 9 following a 45-point win over Hawaii. Oregon now getting ready for Colorado. Colorado's first true test, really, in conference play, taking on Oregon. Will the Buffaloes be for real? Will Oregon get upset? One of the biggest matchups to preview here in a few days right here on the channel. And then rounding out our top 10, Notre Dame in at number 10, beating Central Michigan 41-17 in a game where really you felt like Notre Dame should have won by more. 17 points to Central Michigan with a backup quarterback was not really ideal. But again, the Fighting Irish were probably just looking to get out of there with no injuries as they prepare for Ohio State in South Bend this Saturday. So the Fighting Irish come in at number 10, which is going to set up a massive top 10 showdown in South Bend, again, on Saturday night. Over in the second column, Utah still remains at number 11. The Utes have not done enough to crack the top 10. Yes, they beat Florida. Yes, they beat Baylor. Yes, they beat Weber State. They beat them 31-7 on Saturday. So Utah still remaining at number 11. They've got a massive test coming up against UCLA. That's going to be another one of our games of the week. Stay tuned for that. But this Utah team really needs Cam Rising back. If they want to crack into the top 10, if they want to have a shot at a third straight Pac-12 title, they need Cam Rising back ASAP. And he may or may not be back this Saturday. We thought he might be back in week 2 against Baylor. Was not the case. Was not back in week 3. Will he be back against UCLA, or will the Utes have to go without him again? Luckily, Utah does get the Bruins at home. In at number 12, LSU up 2 spots following a massive win on the road at Mississippi State. Many thought that could be a trendy upset pick. Maybe the Bulldogs snag a victory over the Tigers, where LSU typically struggles in Starkville. LSU kind of debunked that really quickly, winning 41-14 over the Bulldogs. They're up 2 spots, number 12. Oregon State up 2 spots, number 13, following a 17-point victory over San Diego State. Pretty impressive offensive performance against the Beavers, or for the Beavers, but defensively as well. We knew the Aztecs didn't have a strong offense, but held them to just 9 points as Oregon State now prepares for a massive showdown this weekend against Washington State. A lot of major Pac-12 matchups, all in the top 25 that you need to watch out for this weekend. Again, we're going to have analysis on those games later on this week. Alabama at 14, only dropping 1 spot. Some could argue they should drop more. Again, right now, I still think they're a little bit better than Ole Miss, Duke, North Carolina, guys like that. So Alabama still remaining at number 14, but they've got to figure out their quarterback issues. Only beat South Florida 17-3 on the road. Started with Tyler Buchner, did not go well. Went to Ty Simpson, was a little bit better, but really not that great. Alabama has some major issues on hand right now. They drop a spot to 14. It's crazy to see the Crimson Tide this low. Crazier thing is they could be even lower next week if they fall to Ole Miss, who we have at number 15. That's a huge SEC showdown this weekend. Ole Miss taking down Georgia Tech 48-23. Now the Rebels and the Crimson Tide set to square off in Tuscaloosa on Saturday. Lane Kiffin, Nick Saban. Ole Miss clearly has the better offense. Can Alabama's defense slow them down? They lost at home with Texas. They're not invincible in Bryant-Denny Stadium. Something to watch out for on Saturday for sure. To get more analysis of that game coming in later days. Duke coming in at 16. Duke beating Northwestern 38-14, so 24-point victory over maybe the worst Power 5 team in the country in Northwestern, but regardless, still getting an impressive 24-point win there as Duke inches closer and closer to the bulk of ACC play to really see if they're legit contenders or slight pretenders. But Duke looking really good right now. They're in at 16. North Carolina in at 17. They were one of the biggest risers in our rankings, rising 5 spots following an 18-point victory over Minnesota. Getting the win over a strong Golden Gophers defense at home and dropping 31 on them, that was very impressive to me. Holding Minnesota to 13. In years past, even when North Carolina was facing really bad offensive teams, those teams tended to put a lot of yards and points on the Tar Heels defense. They didn't allow that this week. So good defensive performance against South Carolina in week 1. Bad against App State. Really good defense against Minnesota this week. What's in store for week 4? Regardless, though, North Carolina rising up. Big Power 5 victory at home. They're in at 17. Miami in the ACC rising up to 18. Just benefiting from the teams that lost ahead of them and the movement ahead of them. Beating Bethune-Cookman 48-7 last midweek game. It was a Thursday night game. But Miami up 2 spots to 18. Washington State up 4 spots following a win over Northern Colorado 64-21. Again, not up 4 spots because of who they beat. That was a no-brainer. We knew Washington State was going to win that game, but up 4 spots because of what happened ahead of them. The Cougars, though, the real deal. Looking really good under Jake Dicker. That offense is looking phenomenal, led by Cam Ward. Massive game this weekend against Oregon State to kind of determine who's the legit contender here. Is it Oregon State? Is it Washington State? We're going to get some answers on Saturday. Oklahoma up to number 20 with a win over Tulsa 66-17, going on the road and taking care of business from start to finish. That was the offense we were hoping to see from Brent Venables' team. And Oklahoma now about to gear up for Big 12 conference play this weekend as well. We'll have previews of that game later this week too. Over in the final column, Colorado dropping a few spots in our ranking, dropping 2 spots to number 21, so outside of the top 20. Look, you're Colorado, you're going to sit there and make this big spectacle about how you're making it personal with Colorado State, and you dang near lose to them. Had it not been for a miraculous 98-yard game-tying drive, you lose to Colorado State as like a 23, 24-point favorite. So Colorado is a good team. They have looked like a good team. They looked good against TCU. They looked good against Nebraska. They did not look good against Colorado State. These next 2 weeks will be very telling for Colorado. Do they beat Oregon? Do they beat USC? Do they even hang with them? Or do they get the brakes beaten off of them and all the hype goes away from primetime in Boulder? When he's done, should not be dismissed. It's been impressive. It's been good. It's been fun. But how do they fare now that they play some real, true opponents like Oregon and like USC? These next 2 weeks, again, going to be very telling for Colorado to see if they are contenders or if they have just been pretenders from the last 3 weeks. But they dropped a couple spots from a very lackluster performance against Colorado State. Was not very encouraging if you're a Colorado fan. But hey, a win is a win. No complaints there. 22 is Iowa, dropping a spot following their win over Western Michigan. Again, that coming because of what happened just from the teams around them. 23 is UCLA, rising up 2 spots, beating North Carolina Central 59-7. And Florida and Tennessee rounding out our top 25. You know, it was kind of hard to justify who to put in, who to put out. Kansas State losing to Missouri, the Wildcats falling completely out of the top 25. And I was like, do you move Florida in? Do you move a team on the outside looking in like a Clemson, Tulane, someone that was right on the outside for us? But we moved Florida in. The only loss is to a Utah team that has, even without Cam Rising, proven to be a very good team. They decimated Tennessee in the Swamp. That final score, 29-16, making it look a lot closer than the game really was. Florida dominated that game from start to finish. Gators look good, maybe better than all of us thought, including myself here. So a big win over Tennessee. The Volunteers dropping 13 spots in our rankings, clinging to that top 25 spot following yet another loss in the Swamp. We all thought that maybe this would be the year they finally break that streak. They haven't won in Gainesville since 2003, and that streak's going to continue at least until 2025. So another rough outing for the Volunteers against the Gators. They still are in the top 25, though. Still have faith in that offense, maybe against some other inferior opponents. They got to bounce back against UTSA. But regardless, Florida over 24. They do win the head-to-head. Tennessee holding on to 25. And that wraps up our Week 4 GE Top 25. Again, guys, not too much movement from last week. We didn't have any huge matchups, but it was an intriguing week. Kind of told us a lot. A lot of teams looking ahead to conference play. A lot of teams looking ahead to the big matchups on deck for Week 4. A lot of teams turning in lackluster performances. Week 4 is going to tell us a lot about some of the top teams in the country. And what you see here on this board right now is going to look drastically different when we do this exact same video next Monday. When we bring you our Week 5 GE Top 25, going to look way different. Again, 6 ranked versus ranked matchups. Plenty more upsets are going to happen outside of those. Get ready, guys, because this is where the fun begins. So as always, guys, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and check out everything down in the description below. Again, our expert picks over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. Best college football and NFL spread picks in the country. We're killing it with our best bet section. You do not want to miss out on those guaranteed winnings. Also, check out our Patreon account. Check out our mailing address. Everything down in the description there, guys, for you for exclusive college football content year-round. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. And we'll see you next time right here on The Gridiron Expert.
Yeah.